What's up, guys? I'm Josh Pate. That's Steve Wiltfong. It's that time, weekly Wiltfong recruiting Whiparound. Steve, it is about as busy as any April that I can remember, and we got recruiting rankings moving around. So I want to ask you about a team that's coming off a bad season on the field, but it never really seriously impacted recruiting, and that's LSU. And as we look forward to this upcoming cycle, LSU positioned very well. I got folks down in Baton Rouge asking me, could we finish number one this cycle? The answer is what, sir?
The answer is yeah. LSU is not one of the few teams on the short list to finish number one. You obviously got Georgia in there, who's top of the standings. You got Ohio State, who's got pound for pound the highest ranked recruiting class in that capacity. And then you have LSU, who's number two overall. Ohio State lost one of those blue chip commits over the weekend in Desan McCullough. He decommitted and flipped to Indiana, where his dad's the running backs coach. His younger brother, Day, a top 247 recruit in the 2023 class, is also committed to Indiana. And then their oldest brother is transferring from Miami, Ohio, to play for Tom Allen in the Hoosiers. So it's a straight family affair across the board for the McCulloughs. And with that, Ohio State went from number two in the standing to number three, and it elevated the Bayou Bengals. And home cooking is really the narrative for LSU this cycle, Josh. They have their franchise quarterback in the fold in Walker Howard, who had a monster junior season and leading St. Thomas More to a state championship down there in Lafayette, Louisiana, threw for over 3,430 yards and 42 touchdowns to just 5 interceptions. And they have their franchise left tackle and Will Campbell out of Neville High, Monroe, Louisiana, who committed in January of this year to really kind of get the momentum rolling after the ball dropped. And Will Campbell had offers from every premier program across the country. And then just this past week, in addition to the Ohio State decommit, LSU got some big news in their secondary as well, landing 5-star Jacoby Matthews, the number 2 safety in the land per the 24/7 Sports composite. That's the top. They have the top 3 players in the state now committed in Walker Howard, Will Campbell, and Jacoby Matthews. And Jacoby Matthews, you turn on his film, Josh, he's coming in as a safety, 6'2", 205 pounds, but on Friday nights he plays quarterback, man, and he's dedicated to that position and doing the best he can under center to give Ponchatoula a chance to win as many games as they can. But he also plays corner. You see him out in an island and certainly coming down and filling in the alley as a safety. But he's just a high IQ football player. He's instinctive, and that shows up on both sides of the ball. When he's got the ball in his hands, he's got hips. He can make people miss. He's got change of direction, short area burst. He's explosive as a runner. And all that's translated on the 7-on-7 circuit, where we've seen him jumping in the passing lanes and just patrolling the middle of the field for a bootleggers team that's been real successful. And that they have the number 1 tight end, Jake Johnson, who committed this month, who's the top, number 1 player at his position in the top 247, 6'5", 225. He can run. He can stretch the field. He can go up and get the football. But let's get back into that home cooking for LSU. I love where they stand for Shaz Preston, the number 4 overall player in the state, top 247 receiver. I think they're in a good spot for Lavian Moss, who's one of the more coveted running backs in the SEC. Kendrick Law is the number 6 player in the state, an athlete recruit. And then they have Terrence Welch, the number 7 player, cornerback committed. But Jamon Tapp, Trevor Etienne, Trevante Citizen, Emory Jones, Quincy Wiggins, Sean Washington, Austin Osbury, Javade Gilmore, all those guys are players that LSU would love to land. That's theoretically, if they could get 18 of the top 19 players in the state in the fold, and Walter Bob is the one that's not mentioned, he's committed to Alabama. That's what Ed Orgeron and company are kind of shooting for in this class. They love all those guys in state, and they're in a good spot for each of them.
Loaded Whiparound this morning. Loaded. This is just out there on the internet, free for all to see. Steve Wiltfong, I'm Josh Pate. Thanks so much for watching. Keep it locked on 247sports.com for all the latest. Stephen, I will see you next week, sir.
Take care, y'all.